Hey bro, what should I do? Midterms is coming. I need to get an idea. You should be studying right now. It's a great idea. Who's going to teach us? I'm going to be the teacher. What? You have to be kidding me. No way!
Hey dudes, what's up?
Well, actually, we were talking about studying a certain topic.
That's in chapter 4. I have forgotten the thing.
Do you mean that salary?
Yeah, that's it.
Guys, do you know that there's a peer tutoring in this school?
What is that? Well, that's peer tutoring. It means tutoring from higher levels. Offer you free tutor. Can we go there as in now?
Sure, actually, I have seen a great team a while ago.
Hi everyone, so what's bringing you today?
We would like to study about our upcoming exam next week. It's all about salary.
Okay, in a moment, I will just get your name and call our peer for today. Hey Anne! Hey, what's up? So, during our student for today, we will learn about the business math, net occupation, and net income. Okay, so what would you like to know? About deductions. About the deductions in our salary. Just wait a minute. I'll just erase what's written on the board.
So, good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to teach you about how to compute your net income. So, basically, one day you would be graduates and eventually you would enter the corporate world, and then you would receive income and salary for all your services that you've rendered. So, this particular topic would really create an impact on you. So first, before we start the computations, we have to define some terms first. So let's start with the word income. Income is the amount of money you would receive after rendering your service. So in short, this is the payment that your boss gives after you give him a satisfactory work. So there are two types of income. So first, there are two types of income. The first one is the gross income, and the second one is the net income. So what makes these two different is that the gross income is your income without deductions. Basically, this is your agreement with your boss. However, the net income is your income with deductions, and unfortunately, the net income is your take-home pay. So, if we would try to figure out what's the difference between these two, I should say that we're going to focus on the net income because this is your take-home pay, so this is the one that you actually receive. So let's start and define and give the formulas for the net income. So, net income is equal to gross income minus the total deductions. So, in short, we have to figure out first what are these deductions in order for us to subtract that from our gross income, and then you would have your net income or your take-home pay. So, what are the following deductions that we have in the Philippines? So, if you are a working person, there are some deductions in your pay. So, first, we have the SSS deduction. Next is the PhilHealth deduction and the Pag-ibig deduction. So, there are some even added deductions such as cooperatives and other groups or unions that every employee has to join. But we would be focusing on the 3 major deductions only because they are the one usually common that is subtracted from our daily pay. So, to start with, what is SSS? So, SSS stands for Social Security System, and this is a sort of government agency in which that we have to pay some part of our money to the government, and then afterwards, when you grow old, you could receive benefits such as pension, or it could help you in your house loan or whatever. So this is really helpful. So next is the PhilHealth. PhilHealth is used in hospitalization bills and other stuffs or discounts that you could avail if you start paying now or insuring yourself. This is also a government agency. So lastly, we have our Pag-ibig, which is not the forever type. I mean, yeah. Pag-ibig is a sort of a foundation in which you pay some money and then it would help you by giving out loans so you could build your own house. So, for the cooperatives, usually cooperatives are kind of they are actually some sort of unions in which you buy something and then you help each other, you loan money, and then something like that has to do with the members. However, we're just going to focus on these 3. So, let us start. See, this is the SSS contribution schedule or the updated. So, here we have the table. So, there is a range of compensation, then monthly salary credit, and then you have the ER, the EE, and then total. So, for the total contribution, you have the EE as the employee share. So, the employee share is the one that is deducted to your salary. So, in short, this is your sort of payment. But don't worry, your employer pays some part of your SSS as well so that you could receive some benefits when you grow old. And it's kind of required by the government, so yeah, it's quite helpful. Next, we have the PhilHealth contribution table. So, as we have seen before, you have a salary range, and then the employee share, and then the employer share. So, the employee share is the one that you have to pay for. So, they would deduct this some kind of money to you. For example, if you are earning 18,000 to 18,999 pesos per month. So, in short, your employee share would be equal to 225 and your employer would pay 225 as well, giving you a 450 pesos total contribution. So, in short, that's how you compute that. So, lastly but not the least is the revised withholding tax table, which is effective by January 1, 2009. You can see here and you can compute the total salary deducted to you. So in short, this is the table of the Bureau of Internal Revenue in which our taxes are paid and used for government purposes. So in short, they are the ones that are used for funds such as construction of the highways and buildings, schools, others, etc. So, this is the main source of their funds. For our total deductions, since you have seen what those tables are. So, our total deductions would be equal to the SSS contribution plus the PhilHealth contribution plus the Pag-ibig contribution and your withholding tax. So, there you have it. Since we have discussed the basic parts, now we're going to have problem solving. I know it's your favorite part. Okay, so for this example, Mr. R. Santos works as an accounting assistant in a commercial bank. He is married with one dependent child and receives a semi-monthly salary of 6,500 pesos. Calculate his SSS contribution, PhilHealth contribution, and Pag-ibig contribution, and B, the withholding tax. So, in order for us to calculate the SSS contribution, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and the withholding tax, we must remember that these deductions are deducted for every monthly salary. Kindly take note that Mr. Santos receives a semi-monthly pay of 6,500. So, in order for us to get the monthly salary, we need to calculate it. So, here. So, the semi-monthly salary of Mr. Santos is 6,500 pesos. So, in order to get the monthly salary, you have to multiply the semi-monthly by 2. So, we have monthly salary is equal to 6,500 pesos multiplied by 2. Therefore, giving us a monthly salary of 13,000 pesos. So, this is Mr. Santos' monthly salary. So, next, what we're going to do is, from the problem, we are asked to compute for the SSS contribution. So, in order to compute for the SSS contribution, we simply look at the table and locate where Mr. Santos' salary falls on. So, this is the table of the SSS contribution schedule. And if you would notice, Mr. Santos' salary falls on 12,750 to 13,249.99 centavos. So in short, since his salary is 13,000, Mr. Santos is asked to pay for 472 pesos and 30 centavos because it's at the column of EE, which is the employee share. So we take note of Mr. Santos' contribution as 472 and 30 centavos. So here, so now we erase this and kindly take note of Mr. Santos' SSS contribution. So Mr. Santos' SSS contribution is equal to 472 pesos and 30 centavos. So now we simply write it on the piece of paper. So we have 472 pesos then 30 centavos. So there we go. Next is we're going to compute for his Pag-ibig and PhilHealth. So for PhilHealth contribution, we simply need to use the table. So in this table, Mr. Santos' salary falls on 13,000 to 13,999 pesos and 99 centavos. So since our PhilHealth premium contribution table is at salary bracket number 6, you may notice that the employee share, which is Mr. Santos' share, is equal to 162 pesos and 50 centavos. So we kindly take note of that. So the share of Mr. Santos is equal to 162 pesos and 50 centavos. So there we have an answer for letter B. So that is his PhilHealth contribution. And then again, we take note of this. So next, so giving us, let's write it again here, 162 pesos and 50 centavos. So now, we kindly contribute for the Pag-ibig contribution. So for every salary that is greater than 1,000, we have a share of 100 pesos. So for Pag-ibig contribution, Mr. Santos has to pay 100 pesos. So, the Pag-ibig, the house loan, not the forever searching. Anyway, so, let's take note of that. So, for every certain number of salary, we have to contribute at least 100 pesos. So, we take note of that and write it in our piece of paper. So next is, the last part is the withholding tax. For withholding tax, we have certain rules to follow. So I'm now going to show you the table. So in this table, you can notice figures here. There is a legend for table A, then table B, and then you can notice the symbol ZS/ME or /S1, S2, S3, and S4. So what does that mean? So For the legend, we have C as 0 exemption, S for single, ME for married employee, and you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, the number of qualified dependent children. So for S or ME slash ME, 50,000 each working employee, and then for every qualified dependent child, 25,000 each, but not exceeding 4 children. So we use the table A for single or married employees with no qualified dependent. So married employee, husband or wife whose spouse is unemployed. For married employee whose spouse is a non-resident citizen receiving income from foreign resources. Number 3, married employee, husband or wife whose spouse is engaged in business. Then single with dependent father or mother, brother, sister, or senior citizen. Single, and then 0 exemption for employees with multiple employers for their second, third employers. Main employer claims personal and additional exemption. So for 0 exemption for those who failed to file for application for registration. Please kindly take note of that, because if you fail to apply for income tax return, you would really pay a huge sum of money. So use table B for the following single married employees without qualified dependent children. So yun. So you could see here that the exemption, there is weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, and such. So in order for us to use this and compute for Mr. Santos tax, first is we know that his monthly salary is equal to 13,000 pesos. So the monthly salary of Mr. Santos is equivalent into 13,000 pesos. So in order for us to use that table, we're going to use the table B, ME1 slash S1, since Mr. Santos is a married folk with a qualified dependent child. So we're going to use ME1 slash S1 and then column number 5. So you can see at column number 5, 708 and 33 centavos plus 20% over. So what does it mean? 20% over of the amount of 12,083 pesos. So I'm going to show you that. So in order to calculate for Mr. Santos withholding tax, we simply use ME1 slash SE1 since he has a qualified dependent child and he is married. So ME1 slash SE1 column number 5, it would give you the formula of tax withheld is equal to 780 and 33 centavos plus 20% over. So what does over mean? Over means the excess amount of 12,083 pesos in the table. So this is going to happen. So we know that 13,000 pesos is his monthly salary. So kindly erase this. Using the formula, the tax withheld is equal to 708 and 33 centavos plus 0.2 times 13,000 pesos. Don't forget the peso sign. Minus 12,000 pesos and 83 pesos. So in short, we subtract 12,083 pesos from 13,000 pesos and then multiply it to 0.2 and then add 708 and 33 centavos. So what's going to happen is this: 13,000 minus 12,083 pesos, it would give us 917. So this would be 708 pesos and 33 centavos plus 20% of 917 pesos. So we get the 20% of 917. So the answer would be 183.40 centavos. So added of 708 and 33 centavos. So this would give us the value of 891 pesos and 73 centavos. That is the total tax withheld by Mr. Santos. So now we're going to write it on the piece of paper so that we could calculate his total deductions and net income. So for his withholding tax, we have 891 pesos and 73 centavos. So there you go. We now have his SSS contribution, PhilHealth contribution, Pag-ibig contribution, and then withholding tax. So since we have all the parameters for computing for his total deductions, I can see that we could calculate his net income from this. So what's going to happen is, let's first calculate the total deductions. So the total deductions would be SSS plus PhilHealth plus Pag-ibig plus withholding tax. So we have now the total deduction is equal to 472 pesos and 30 centavos plus 162 pesos and 50 centavos plus 100 pesos and your withholding tax, which is 891 pesos and 73 centavos. So add them up and you would have an answer of 1,626 pesos and 53 centavos. So you take note of his total deduction. So Mr. Santos' total deduction is equal to 1,626 and 53 centavos. So now that he already has the total deductions, we could now compute for his net income. So, next we do is simply erase this first. So, now, here. The net income is equal to gross pay minus the total deductions. So, substituting net income is equal to 13,000 pesos minus 1,626 pesos and 53 centavos. So, our net income would be equal to 11,000 pesos and 373 and 47 centavos. So, this would be the net income or the take home of Mr. Santos per month.